Chapter 6 Looping Statements in Python. Learning Outcomes. At the end of this chapter, students will be able to comprehend looping statements in Python, traverse elements using loops, know the working of the range function, know the operations of for and while loops, warm up, play the game. Teacher's note: guide students about the loop game. Introduce them with the loop statement in Python. What if something has to be printed 100 times? You need to type 100 times, which seems time consuming. So, this is where the loop plays a very important role. Hello friends, let's learn about the looping statement in Python. The idea of a loop enables us to execute program instruction repeatedly without having to repeatedly write the same ones. The successful execution of loop depends on the condition. As long as the condition returns true, the statements continue to run. The loop ends automatically when the condition returns false. For example, mother gives you a bowl of rice. You won't eat up at once. You start with the first spoon, then second, and so on. In this manner, you finish your rice after several tablespoons of eating. Let's say 8. Let's examine the program-based loop example. Let the control variable be a. In this example, we have taken the initial value of a as 0. When you eat the first spoon, the value of a becomes 1. After the second, its value becomes a is equal to a plus 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, and so on. The value increases every time the process repeats. After being increased, the control variable c will be evaluated to the maximum number of repetition, which is 8 round. Start. Take start eating as a. Let a is equal to 0. Are the number of time you eat greater than or equal to 8? Bracket a smaller than is equal to 8 question mark. No. A is equal to a plus 1. Take more rounds. Yes. Stop. It will keep going till the value of a equals 8. This indicates that the loop will repeat itself 8 times before coming to an end. Do you know? The use of loops in programming has the benefit of reducing both the number of instructions and the amount of memory required. Python uses loops to iterate through sequence elements. 2 different types of loop are available in Python for use in looping operations: for loop, while loop. For loop. The for loop is used to repeatedly iterate over a sequence values. These values can be either string, list, or tuple values. The control variable determines whether each value in the sequence has been traversed or not with each iteration. Traversal is the process of accessing elements in a sequence one at a time. The for loop's body is no longer performed once all the values in the sequence have been transferred. Instead, control is passed to the statement that comes next. The for loop statement is used when you know the number of iterations beforehand. Let me answer. How would you define a loop? The for loop is called a counting loop. Program: printing the characters of a string. For letters in apples, print current letter, letter. Program: printing the items of a list. SDGs is equal to bracket women empowerment, comma, girls education, comma, gender equality bracket. For goal in SDGs, print current goal, girl. Loop control statement. There are 3 loop control statements in Python. These are used to alter how the loop typically operates. Break statements. The break statements end the loop statement and shift control to the statement that comes right after the loop. Program. Using break statement, SDGs, women empowerment, girls education, gender equality. For goal in SDGs, if goal is equal to women empowerment, print goal, break This will print only women empowerment and stop the execution of the loop although more items are present in the list. Continue statement. This command causes the loop to skip the remaining portion of its body and to retest its condition right away before updating the loop variable. Program using continue statement to not print women empowerment. SDGs is equal to women empowerment, girls education, gender equality for goal in SDGs. If goal is equal to women empowerment, continue print goal. This will print the other item of the list except women empowerment. Past statements. Past statements are used to create empty loops. Infinite loop. If a condition never evaluates to false, a loop becomes infinite. It occurs to become the loop either lacks a terminating condition or has a requirement that can never be satisfied. As a result, a never-ending cycle is created. It is known as an infinite loop. Program. Write a program to display an endless loop. Var is equal to 1. While var is equal to 1, number is equal to input, enter a number. Print your entered number. While loop. In the while loop, if the specified condition is true, a series of statements will be carried out. Prior to starting the body of the loop, the condition is tested. One statement or a group of statements could be found in the loop body. The statement that comes straight after the loop receives control when the condition is changed to false. It's referred to as conditional loop. Syntax. While expression, statements, the body of the loop is skipped and the statement that comes after it is performed if the condition is first found to be false. Remember it. Python group statement using identification as a grouping strategy. Program. Write a program to print all the numbers up to the number entered by the user. N is equal to input, enter a number. While n is smaller than 0, print n is equal to n minus 1. The user is prompted to input a number in this section. The condition is checked first, then the number is entered. Since 4 was entered, the condition is and so 4 is printed according to the first statement inside the loop body. The value of n is then decreased by 1, making it 3. 4 minus 1. The operation is repeated after returning to the loop's first statement to check the condition. As a result, the loop runs 4 times until the value of n equals 0, at which point the condition will be considered false. After the while loop, control will move to the statement getIq. Write a program to print the odd numbers between 1 and 30. Let's recall. The idea of a loop enables us to execute program instruction repeatedly without having to repeatedly write the same ones. The for loop is also called a counting loop. The break statement ends the loop statement and shifts control to the statement that comes right after the loop. In the while loop, if the specified condition is true, a series of statements will be carried out. If a condition never evaluates to false, a loop becomes infinite. Upskill your intelligence. A. Fill in the blanks. 1. The successful execution of the loop depends on the dash. Answer. Condition. 2. There are dash loop control statements in Python. Answer. 3. 3. Dash is the process of accessing elements in a sequence one at a time. Answer. Traversal. 4. If a condition never evaluates to false, a loop becomes dash. Answer. Infinite. 5. Dash command causes the loop to skip the remaining portion of its body and to retest its condition right away before updating the loop variable. Answer. Continue statement. B. Answer in one word. 1. A loop that tests the condition before executing the loop body. Answer. While loop. 2. It is also called a conditional loop. Answer. While loop. 3. Accessing the elements of the loop one by one. Answer. Traversal. 4. It is also called a counting loop. Answer. For loop. 5. This statement ends the loop statement and shifts control to the statement that comes right after the loop. Answer. Break statement. C. Answer the following questions. 1. What are loops? Give real life examples. Answer. The idea of a loop enables us to execute program instruction repeatedly without having to repeatedly write the same ones. The successful execution of the loop depends on the condition. For example, mother gives you a bowl of rice. You won't eat up at once. You start with the first spoon, then the second, and so on. In this manner, you finish your rice after several tablespoons of eating. 2. What is an infinite loop? Answer. If a condition never evaluates to false, a loop becomes infinite. It occurs because the loop either lacks a terminating condition or has a requirement that can never be satisfied. As a result, a never-ending cycle is created. It is known as an infinite loop. 3. State the difference between for loop and while loop. Answer. Difference between for loop and while loop. For loop 1. The for loop is used to repeatedly iterate over a sequence value. While loop 1. In the while loop, if the specified condition is true, a series of statements will be carried out. For loop 2. The for loop is also called a counting loop. While loop 2. It's referred to as a conditional loop. 4. Write a program to print all the numbers up to the number entered by the user. Answer. Ask students to do it by themselves. 5. What do you mean by continuous statements? Answer. Continuous statement. This command causes the loop to skip the remaining portion of its body and to retest its condition right away before updating the loop variable. Critical thinking. Is an infinite loop useful? Think and write. Answer. Ask students to do it by themselves. Teamwork. Team up with your partner and write a program to find if the given number entered by the user is even or odd. Answer. Ask students to do it by themselves.